Hey, what's up guys? My name is Thomas Park. Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about company culture and why it's so important for a VPN provider to have a good one. Now with VPN companies, pretty much all the decisions come from the management, just like any other company. Company culture for a VPN, I believe, is especially important though because VPNs handle our privacy. We are using VPNs specifically because we give them our trust to protect our data. Now, it would almost be like trusting a bank to protect your money. So you do want to get a good bank. You want to be on good terms with your bank. You want to know that you could trust your bank. And I think the same is true for VPN. However, you wouldn't just give your money over to some random company that you know nothing about. Most of the banks that people use are very old. People know a decent amount about them. They're pretty transparent and they have good reputations. Now, to be honest, you can also make the argument that people don't like banks, they don't trust them, they don't like the reputations. But honestly, most people use banks because it's the easiest way to store their money, it's the easiest way to keep it safe. So you can make the same arguments about VPNs. Maybe you shouldn't use a VPN, maybe you shouldn't trust them, maybe you should start your own VPN, although you're gonna have to trust some server provider. Maybe you should just live out in the woods or whatever like that. Bottom line is that, the more you know about a company, the more you could trust it, the better it is. Maybe in the perfect world, there would be some kind of decentralized VPN service that we don't need to trust and it keeps everyone perfectly secure and it's perfectly fast and, it's kind of peer-to-peer or something like that. Maybe there's something like that could exist one day, but it doesn't exist yet. You do have something like the Tor network, of course, but even the Tor network, which is kind of built around that decentralization and nodes through peer-to-peer, it's pretty slow. It requires volunteer money and stuff like that, so it's not a perfect system yet. So we're kind of stuck trusting the good companies, the good VPN companies. Fortunately, I think there is a little bit of differences in that analogy as well. Banks are companies that are mainly just out there for profit and making money, whereas you can make a hopeful idea that some VPN companies really do care about privacy and security as well as making money, but making money isn't their only goal. I think it's certainly true that it is true for some VPN companies that they don't really care that much about privacy security and they really just want to make money. And you probably could guess which ones I think do that based on the low reputation scores. However, with VPNs, that's not always the case. And I think that's actually very kind of not good. I think people don't consider VPN reputations enough when they very well should. Some of the most marketed VPNs out there, people don't really know anything about. So how can you trust a VPN if you don't know anything about it? That's why I believe knowing a VPN and knowing what kind of company culture it has is extremely important. Take, for example, some random VPN company. Does it value customer experience the most? Does it value its marketing team the most? Does it value its sales team the most? Does it value its kind of security and core fundamental belief system in privacy more than anything? A VPN is simply can't do everything, and I think knowing the company culture of a VPN is very important because it's what you value and how you can choose a VPN provider. So let's take, for example, a VPN like NordVPN. It obviously values marketing and sales above everything else because that's where it has excelled. It's taken over the market. It's grown from pretty much a no-name VPN provider to the biggest VPN provider. And how has it done this? Well, through marketing and sales. It's clearly put all of its money into buying out YouTubers and getting sponsored and stuff like this, driving the profit margins. Then you have something like Molvad, for example. It's not a company that really cares too much about marketing and sales. If anything, Molvad cares more about fundamental privacy and security. It's not also a company that really cares about customer experience or customer support that much because they don't really have live chat options or stuff like that. You could also consider VPN's kind of main focus about just being the best product overall, maybe checking off the list in terms of streaming compatibility, pricing, and stuff like that. And I would have to assign something like that to TorCard. But you also have companies like Private Internet Access, which also kind of got to the top of the list in terms of being one of the biggest VPN providers, but they obviously didn't really care about their customers too much because they sold out to Cape Crossrider, who formerly was a company who developed malware. They also axed their forums, cut live chat services, and did all other sorts of things across the years that made people not like them as much, like put Roger Ver on their advisory board, hire Mark Karpelis as a CTO and stuff like that. So it obviously isn't a company that cares too much about its customers, but more about perhaps having a good payday at the end of selling the company. So that's what I mean when company culture is very important. how can you trust a VPN company if you don't really know what it values? How can you trust a VPN company when you don't know who owns it? I think this is kind of one thing that a lot of people don't really consider when choosing a VPN. They don't stop to analyze, what does this VPN value the most? What is the company culture at this VPN? How do they treat leaks and security things? How do they respond with transparency? Again, you have something like NordVPN, which took a long time to reveal that it had a security leak only after people started talking about it. You also have companies that do all sorts of kind of audits and things like that. And you also have some companies like AirVPN, where you're super transparent and refuse to implement new technologies like WireGuard because they simply don't think it's safe enough to use yet. They don't just throw it in the app and make themselves look amazing because, oh look, we're using the newest thing. No, they hold to their guns and say we're not going to upgrade to this technology until it's ready for actual use and security. So that's a good company culture in my opinion. That's something that I value. In a lot of ways, the company culture of a VPN is kind of wrapped up in the reputation part of my tier list. And I've tried to rate all the VPNs that have good company cultures or good reputations a high score, and the ones that don't a low score. So guys, if you want to see what I think of company cultures, or aka their reputation, go ahead and check out the tier list and look at the reputation score category, and you might learn a thing or two. Anyways guys, thanks for checking out this video. Let me know down in the comments down below what you think of this video, and I'll see you again very soon.